If Southside asked me to send through some ethnic loops, here's exactly what I would send. I started this loop off with a starter from my brother Clemsy, which sounds like this. You can hear it already has some ethnic elements in there with the flute, but what I did is I slowed it down to 127, especially for those ethnic hard-hitting Pyrex Whipper type of samples. You want to have it around 127 to 130, if not even 120. So here's a slowed down version and I took some elements out. First up, what I always do with those samples is have a low violin that gives it that sort of rhythm. So that's what that sounds like. You can either create a rhythm through a different pattern like this time, or you could also create the same pattern like this, but then create the rhythm through velocity changes. The staccato string I used is from Novo Full Assemble, and I just went in here and selected staccato string. The Novo staccato string is probably one of my favorites. I use it for pretty much every sample when I need a staccato string, so I highly recommend Novo Essentials. It's a Firefly orchestral string contact library. Next up, I added an ethnic phrase from East West Silk from Opus, which sounds like this. Now you can use either a phrase for those ethnic melodies, but if you want to make those ethnic melodies from scratch, be sure to use the harmonic scale. So that's the D minor harmonic scale. It's pretty much the same. The only thing that changes is the 7 moves up 1 semitone. And whenever you want to make those ethnic sounding loops, always use the harmonic scale. And just remember the 7th note is pitched up 1 semitone. So if you have that scale, you can start playing around. Just like that, you can come up with your own ethnic melodies. Then I've added the low piano, as always. We need to fill out those low frequencies, add some bass. What I always like to do with the low pianos is spread them out over 2 octaves and then have the higher octave only play for half the duration as the lower octave, and that gives it that nice unique sound. Next up, I wanted to create more of that bounce, so what I did was I chose a staccato choir, which sounds like this. Choir is from Choir Omnia, just the staccato on the A sound, and I've layered this melody with another sound from Choir Omnia, a longer one. Just kind of a phrase type of thing with an M and the A, also from Choir Omnia, pretty fire. Last thing I've added, of course, a bass. Cannot forget a bass, always need to have one in there. Just to make it more unique, sometimes I cut out the last beats of the bass, so it kind of drops again on every second bar. I've took the whole thing, exported it out after arranging it and pitched it down 1 semitone, and that's what that sounds like with some drums on it. Here's what I would send through if Metro Booming asked me for some ambient loops.